Turn attention to Osun State, where the management of Bowen University, which is a privately owned institution in the state, has suspended ongoing examinations till Monday, 27th of January. This follows the death of one of its students in a suspected attack. The deceased, a student of the College of Management and Social Sciences of the institution, reportedly died on Wednesday night. According to a statement by the registrar of the university, the student was seen running towards the staff quarters where he suddenly collapsed and hit his head against the pavement. He was rushed to the university hospital but died there. The statement adds that a closer inspection of the student showed he had sustained a wound in his abdominal region prior to the fall, while bruises were also seen around his neck. Family of the deceased has since been contacted, while the matter has been reported to the police. For more on this development, Vice Chancellor of Bowen University, Professor Jonathan Babalola, joins me now on the news at 1. Prof, it's good to have you join us at this time, and our sincere condolences on this unfortunate incident. But, help us understand what really went on. How did this student die?
Thank you. I actually wasn't around, but the eyewitness accounts that we got, a lecturer was coming from the gate, trekking towards the staff quarters, the principal officer's staff quarter. From afar, she saw a student who sat on the floor. Another student was actually ahead of her, going in the same direction. So it was that student that first got to the person that sat on the floor. And he asked the student that sat on the floor, what happened? He said, oh, they are trying to kill me. And the lecturer asked the same question. That other student at that time replied that he said, they are trying to kill me. As at that time, the boy couldn't talk again. So the boy that saw the victim first went around to go and check what was happening. But all of a sudden, probably the deceased sensed probably danger was coming again, stood to run, and unfortunately just staggered and fell against the pavement headlong and became unconscious. The lecturer shouted, called for help, and they went around to go and check, and they couldn't really find anything. But on a closer examination, the candidate, the victim, had actually sustained injury, which at that time, at the time we made the report, we couldn't say what type of injury, and were careful to say whatever. But from what I saw on the body yesterday, it looks like a sharp object had been used to pierce through him. So there was a cut in his abdomen, there were some scratches on the necks, and I think a minor one on the other side. So we reported the case. Well, immediately that happened, we were not even searching. What they did immediately was to call for ambulance, who came in with less than 10 minutes. The ambulance came in almost immediately. They took him to the hospital, and the doctor, the nurses, the principal officers, they were all there. They struggled to get him back to life from around 8:20 when the incident happened till around 11:30 something when they discovered that he has given up the ghost. And as at that time, nobody was even sure who the candidate was. It was during the search of the area, they saw an ID card, and we thought that was the candidate. When they got to the hospital, they went to the hostel rather and find out that the person that has ID card was actually around. And later it was discovered that it was the candidate that the student that helped rush him to the hospital that actually owned the ID card. So we have to get student workers from the hostel to come to the hospital to actually identify the candidate before we got to know the candidate. And immediately I was contacted. I had to call the visitor to the university, the pro-chancellor, who eventually informed the parents of the candidate. It's just an unfortunate one. And I think I should add, apparently the attackers were hiding behind the guest house of the university. And I think he walked into them. Probably they were actually waiting for him. And the last thing they discovered that they found his phone about, let's say, 20 meters away from where he was initially. Finally, after the attack, he ran towards the place where they saw him the first time.
So,
and
Prof,
when they checked his phone, they discovered that they look at the communication. So he actually went to visit somebody on the old campus, and the person was asking him whether he has reached his hostel or otherwise. So that is the information we have for now. The university has set up an investigating committee, and we've reported the case to the police. It has been incidented, and I think they are now at Osogbo also giving reports.
All right, Prof. But do you have any leads as to who the attacker could have been? Because you mentioned earlier that it appeared they were hiding behind the guest house.
Because he ran from the guest house to that place, we aren't sure who the attackers was, who they were. From the information we are getting, it could be a planned work from outside.
Okay, now talk to us about
from
security.
Some of the information we have not confirmed.
Okay, Prof, I hear you. But talk to us about security on campus. Does Bowen University have CCTVs?
Okay, the university has CCTV, but most of the CCTV were actually done to monitor the borders of the university to see who is entering, who is not entering, especially the first area that we have behind the university that could not be fenced all around. The main gate and some other places have CCTV. Unfortunately, where the incident happened has no CCTV because it was actually not a road which students turned to a road. So if it has been a road, probably we'll have been able to get information. And the CCTV from Senate building didn't cover that area as well.
All right. And as we wrap up the conversation, Prof, have there been any reported cases of cultism in Bowen University? Or from the records, has there been any report made by this victim now of maybe a threat to life? And what exactly is the university management putting in place to prevent a recurrence?
This is the first time we are having such an incident. None before now. We've been watching, especially when when there was attack all over the country. We reduced the time that a student needs to be back in the hostel from 10 p.m. to 9 p.m. And we don't know for what reason in the last 3-4 weeks, we've been enforcing it. And we even enforce it to the extent that once it is dark, we don't expect a student to walk alone. And we even forbid male and female students walking alone once it is dark. We expect people to move in group just because of the general insecurity in the country. We never knew this would come this way. And there's not been any report from the candidate of any threat. But we are now trying to investigate through the friend he went to see at the other side and the roommates to know if there have been any threat to his life. But of course, there may be some family issues that we are not really into.
All right, then. Professor Jonathan Babalola, the Vice Chancellor of Bowen University, thank you very much for helping us understand the situation surrounding the death of this student. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We are very grateful.